I'm Dr. Alex Décay, and this is Module 5. Earth History. Not mythology, not fan fiction, a pattern brief. Because SCP-15987 does not arrive the way most anomalies arrive. He returns, and every return leaves fingerprints in our casualty curves, our cover stories, and our internal politics. This module is the timeline we can say out loud, plus the motive structure the file keeps trying to pretend is irrelevant. Slide 1. We teach you this for the same reason we teach fire safety. Not because you plan to start a fire, because you will eventually be in a room where one starts anyway. SCP-15987's history on Earth contains events we did not cause, events we failed to stop, and one event that may have started because the wrong people pulled the wrong thread during the wrong night. If you understand why he returns, you understand what makes him cooperate and what makes him leave. Slide 2. The file uses the word visit as if this is tourism. It's not. An Earth visit can be a manifestation that lasts minutes, a residency that lasts years, a transit where Earth is used like a hallway, or an orbital watch where he never touches ground at all. This matters operationally because our response posture changes depending on which one we are dealing with. If he is watching from orbit, he is not lost. He is choosing distance. Slide 3. He returns for 4 repeating reasons: anchors, curiosity, damage control, and moral debt. Anchors are the people he is bound to, and the vows he takes seriously even when nobody is looking. Curiosity is simple. Earth produces unusual signal. Social, cultural, and anomalous. It's loud. Damage control is what it sounds like. He checks the blast radius of old mistakes. And moral debt is the most dangerous motive, because it makes him intervene when our systems would prefer he stay neutral.
Slide 4. The first time I saw London, it was winter and smoke and rules, a city built like a locked drawer. We did not come to explore. We came because a mirror with teeth swallowed us, and then someone stole the mirror. Earth's first lesson was immediate. People will cage you and call it protection, then sleep well after. We learned to move quietly, to look harmless when we were not.
It sounds romantic on paper. London, gaslight, history. In reality, it was hunger, cold, and a constant calculation of who was safe to ask for directions without becoming a story someone sells. We were lucky we had each other, and we were lucky the people who wanted the mirror wanted it more than they wanted a body to dissect.
This is where the record starts pretending it's all folklore. It isn't. 1892 is the first confirmed Earth arrival, and it sets the rule that repeats for the next century. If an artifact can open a door, someone will try to turn that door into a weapon. Next slide. Slide 5. By 1893, they are still on Earth, still hunting the mirror, and now intersecting a Victorian occult circle and a vampire incident that later becomes literature with the serial numbers filed off. If you ever hear him say, "Good book, close enough," understand what that means in Foundation language. It means, yes, it happened. And also, no, you do not get to ask follow-up questions in a room with unsecured personnel. Next slide. Slide 6. 1912 is a short return. No clean documentation, no modern infrastructure, no reliable chain of custody. Just an event cluster, a brief signal, and then nothing. The only reason it stays in the timeline is because it fits the pattern. Returns cluster near large world stress. War, collapse, mass movement, mass death. Earth gets loud. He checks the noise. Next slide. Slide 7. During the war years, their activity is best described as denial operations. Not conquest, not heroics. Artifact prevention. Preventing certain objects from becoming symbols that rewrite history with a single miracle. They interfered, but they did it in a way that left humans holding the steering wheel, because a visible non-human intervention becomes a permanent myth, and permanent myths become permanent handles.
Slide 8. There are nights you survive and nights that survive you. I was summoned in chains. I could not hear Jasper for one moment. One moment was enough. And then the world answered with something else. Red fog, red moon, not a sickness of lungs, a sickness of essence, a thing that learned joy from the sound of dying. If you want a clean story, read the report. If you want the truth, accept this. I did not win. I endured.
He doesn't talk about it because he's hiding guilt like a treasure. He doesn't talk about it because saying it out loud makes it real again, and he spent decades trying to convince his body that it was over. We learned something that night. There are forces that respond to scale, and there are forces that punish you for surviving when others didn't.
Officially, the Foundation response is narrative containment, food outbreak scapegoat, influenza fog, industrial incident as the hard excuse for the deaths that didn't fit. Unofficially, the event demonstrates a hostile phenomenon that targets the soul, not the body, and escalates with mass effect. If you remember one thing from 1967, make it this. Some problems do not care about your ethics, but they do care about your scale. Next slide. Slide 9. After 1967, most people expected rage or a victory lap. What we saw instead was grief, the quiet kind that doesn't ask permission. Rakashan did not treat the dead like numbers on a report. He treated them like weight, names you carry, faces you can't unsee. And here's the part the file timestamps don't communicate. For us, this section is 12 years on the calendar. For them, it's closer to 360. The mists don't respect our clocks. Crossings don't keep promises. So what looks like a gap in Foundation paperwork can be an entire lifetime of recovery on their side. Jasper kept him upright through the worst of it, not by fixing it, not by talking him out of it, but by staying. Meals, sleep, routine. A hand on his shoulder when the nightmares hit, and music when words failed. From 1967 to 1979, he doesn't vanish, but he does retreat. He watches, he learns, he intervenes rarely, and when he does, it's surgical. Not because he stopped caring, but because caring became dangerous. Wide miracles make wider funerals. So if you're reading this file and thinking he's cold, correct your angle. He isn't indifferent. He's trying, like the rest of us, to live with what can't be undone. Slide 10. August 1979. NASA flags a discharge over the Appalachians. A response team finds a campsite, a dead knot deer, and 2 survivors. The Foundation does what the Foundation does. We separate, disarm, interview, and attempt to define a living person as a category. The first liaison did well. The system around him did not. Slide 11. The next 5 years are the slow collision you already heard about in Module 3. Reliance goes up, casualties go down, and the temptation to own the solution grows in the background like mold. Departments ask for access, leadership asks for assurance, and eventually someone asks for a thing you cannot ask without breaking the deal you claim you have. Slide 12. 1984 is where the record becomes ugly enough that people start calling it complex. It wasn't complex. It was an order that treated a town like a stain. They refused. They evacuated. They preserved lives. And they left because the Foundation had proven it did not understand the difference between containment and convenience. Next slide. Slide 13. For 16 years, we operate without them. Containments that would have been clean become disasters that require cover stories. Some of those cover stories are still active today. During portions of this gap, they remain close, near Earth, watching. Not because they missed us, because they were measuring whether we would learn. Slide 14. May 2000. They manifest aboard the International Space Station. No deaths, no damage, no theatrics. Just a message with the most dangerous word in it. Conditions. This is where the relationship stops being containment with cooperation and becomes a consultancy with boundaries. No leash, no kill switch, no or else. Just the thin, terrifying structure of mutual consent. Slide 15. From 2000 forward, they operate as consultants with defined limits. The right of refusal becomes structural. Jasper is protected from leverage, coercion, and pressure. High-order magic becomes bounded, documented, and monitored. If you think those boundaries exist to protect the Foundation, you are half right. They exist to keep Earth from paying the price when our fear tries to become policy again. Slide 16. 2018 is where modernity creates a new kind of risk. Not chains, not cages, metadata, a recorded self, a trail of identifiers that can be used like a handle. If you don't understand why that matters, you are not cleared for this module. The Foundation learned the hard way that building hooks into people is indistinguishable from building weapons into them.
You cannot leash a soul with paperwork, but you can bruise it with surveillance. You can make a person feel owned by the simple act of watching them without consent. Try to turn my family into a handle again, and you will learn what the word no looks like when it stops being polite.
After 2018, boundaries tighten. Not because they got colder, because we proved we could innovate new kinds of coercion. And they will not live in a world where love can be used as a lever by someone who calls it procedure. Next slide. Slide 17. The record omits 3 categories of truth. First, events we filed as unknown disasters because the alternative implicated our choices. Second, victories we credited to other teams because admitting who helped would raise questions we didn't want asked. Third, and most important, their restraint is voluntary. They cooperate because they choose to. That means the deal is not enforced by fear. It is enforced by respect. And respect is the one thing we can't requisition when we run out. Slide 18. Recap. SCP-15987 returns after large world events. He avoids ownership structures, and cooperation ends the moment coercion begins. Next module is Module 6, Ethics and Edge Cases. The situations where can is not the question. The question is whether you should, and what you become if you do. End of Module 5.